The story opens with chaos, an alien world being torn apart by war. The Galactic Council, a ruthless alliance of advanced alien species, has declared war on the human allies of a neutral race. The planet is under siege and the enemy forces have come prepared. Cloaking devices make their ships nearly invisible. AI-driven drones patrol the skies, and robotic soldiers with precision weapons move through the battlefield, relentless and unstoppable. In the heart of the conflict, the alien princess, Zaralin, stands as the commander of the planet's defense forces. She's a brilliant leader, known for her strength and grace, but today is different. Today, the odds are stacked against her. The royal convoy, tasked with evacuating key military personnel, is surrounded by the enemy. Zaralin is determined to protect her people, but the attack is overwhelming. The sound of explosions rips through the air, and the air is thick with smoke and debris. As Zaralin leads her forces through the chaos, she's calm under pressure, directing her soldiers with a cool, commanding voice. But the enemy is relentless. The battle turns in a split second when an explosion rocks the convoy, sending debris flying through the air. The screen goes black for a moment, the tension thick. Was the princess caught in the explosion? Did she survive? The next moments are pure chaos. The camera zooms in on the wreckage, the sounds of battle all around. Zaralin's convoy has been decimated and her soldiers are losing ground fast. Her personal guard, the elite warriors who would never leave her side, are being wiped out one by the enemy's superior firepower. The situation is dire. As the remaining guards try to fight back, a blast knocks Zaralin off her feet, and she collapses to the ground, unconscious. The battle rages on, but all eyes are on the fallen princess. Her life is hanging by a thread. Will she survive? This is the hook, and it leaves the audience on the edge of their seats, wondering what will happen next. At the far end of the battlefield, far behind enemy lines, a figure moves through the smoke and dust. His name is Jack Ryan. He's a human medic, an unlikely hero in the middle of this war. He's far from the front lines, where the fiercest fighting is happening. Jack was never meant to be in the heart of battle. His job is to assist with evacuation efforts, tending to the wounded and keeping civilians safe. But today, things are different. He has received orders to step in, to risk everything and help wherever he is needed most. Jack is not a soldier, nor is he trained for this kind of combat. He is simply a medic, a man with a deep sense of duty and compassion for others. And yet, here he is in the middle of a war zone, where every second counts. His mission now, to save lives, even if it means putting his own life in danger. As Jack moves through the wreckage, his heart pounds. His pulse races. Not from fear, but from the gravity of the situation. He knows that a single mistake could mean the end for anyone, especially the princess. He knows Zaralin's importance, not just as a leader, but as the key to peace between their two worlds. If she falls, the entire planet could be lost. Through the smoke and fire, Jack sees the carnage. He sees the dead, the wounded, and the screams of soldiers caught in the crossfire. As the enemy closes in, Jack hears a familiar voice crackling through his communicator, orders to move forward and locate the princess. His eyes narrow. He knows what's at stake. He races towards the wreckage of the convoy, weaving between destroyed alien vehicles and fallen soldiers. His medical training kicks in as he assesses the situation. The area is still under fire, and the air is filled with the sound of gunshots and explosions. But Jack doesn't hesitate. His mission is clear. He has to reach Zaralin no matter the cost. As he moves closer to the wreckage, he sees the lifeless bodies of the princess's guards. He steps over them, heart heavy with the weight of what he must do. Finally, he finds Zaralin lying unconscious among the debris. Her body is bruised, bloodied, and battered. He can see she's alive, just barely. Her breathing is shallow, her pulse weak. Jack doesn't waste a second. He pulls out a medical pack, quickly assessing her injuries. Her body is a wreck, but he knows what needs to be done. This is the moment where Jack's true character is tested, not as a soldier, but as a healer. He's the last hope for the princess and the planet. As he works quickly, the tension builds. The enemy is closing in and time is running out. The fate of Zaralin, the planet, and everyone depending on her rests in Jack's hands. Will he be able to save her in time, or will the enemy strike before he can finish? This suspenseful moment sets the stage for what comes next, leaving the audience eager to see how the medic and the alien princess will survive this perilous situation. Jack reaches Zaralyn just as she slips into unconsciousness. Her injuries are severe. Shrapnel is embedded deep in her chest, and blood pours from a gash on her side. The sight is grim, and Jack knows time is running out. The enemy forces are closing in, their weapons firing in the distance, and explosions rumble through the air, shaking the ground beneath him. In the midst of the chaos, Jack remains calm. His human medical technology is advanced, allowing him to quickly assess and treat Zaralyn's injuries despite the overwhelming odds. The sound of gunfire and distant explosions fades into the background as Jack focuses solely on his mission, saving her life. His hands move with precision, each action carefully calculated, even as the tension builds. He applies pressure to her wounds to stop the bleeding, uses a quick heal bandage on her side, and injects a stabilizing serum to boost her heart rate. The contrast between Jack's unshaken demeanor and the chaos surrounding him is striking. He's not a soldier, not a warrior, yet here he is, fighting for someone's life in the middle of a war zone. It's a race against time. Every second feels like an eternity. His heart pounds in his chest as he works, knowing that failure could mean the end for Zaralyn and the downfall of her planet. Zaralyn remains unaware of the human medic who is saving her. She's lost in the darkness of unconsciousness, oblivious to the danger around her. But Jack's internal monologue reveals his thoughts. I can't let her die. She's the key. Without her, everything is lost. His words are quiet but filled with emotion. He understands the weight of his actions. Zaralyn isn't just a princess. She's a symbol of hope for both humans and aliens. Her survival could mean peace, while her death could bring destruction. Finally, after what feels like an eternity, Jack's efforts begin to pay off. Her vital signs stabilize. Her breathing becomes steadier, and her pulse strengthens. But the battle is far from over. The enemy is still closing in, and Jack knows they need to move fast. The question now is, can they escape before it's too late? The suspense hangs in the air as Jack makes the difficult decision to leave the safety of his position and move Zaralyn to a more secure area. Every choice he makes is crucial, and time is running out. The emotional weight of this moment is not just about saving a life, but about the potential future of two worlds. After a tense and risky escape, Jack manages to get Zaralyn to a hidden human medical base. The environment is a stark contrast to the chaos of the battlefield. This new setting is clean, quiet, and controlled, a far cry from the war-torn alien world they've just left behind. Zaralyn stirs, her eyes fluttering open. For a moment, she doesn't understand where she is. The bright, sterile lights of the medical base are different from the dim glow of her alien ships. The smell is unfamiliar, the air too calm. She blinks, her head pounding with confusion. She tries to sit up, but pain shoots through her body, forcing her back down. Her gaze darts around, and she finally sees Jack, standing near her, calm and collected, a stark contrast to the soldiers and commanders she's used to. A flash of anger flickers in her eyes. Why? Why would a human risk everything to save me? She asks, her voice raspy from the injuries and the shock. Jack, unfazed, gives her a soft, reassuring smile. We save lives. It's what we do, he responds simply, his tone matter-of-fact. His answer is nothing like the pompous speeches she's heard from alien leaders. Zaralyn frowns, still unsure how to process this. Her entire life has been about power, strength, and control. The idea of compassion and sacrifice for another species feels foreign, especially from a human, someone she's been taught to view as weak. But as the hours pass, Zaralyn begins to notice something different about Jack. There's no fear in his eyes, no hostility. He doesn't seem like the other humans she's encountered in her royal life, who cowered in the presence of her power. Jack moves around the room with quiet confidence, always calm and focused, never rushing. Slowly, a flicker of curiosity begins to grow in Zaralyn's chest. Why was he so different? In flashes, memories of her past life as a royal princess flood her mind. She remembers the high expectations, the endless demands to appear perfect, to lead with an iron fist. It's a lonely existence, filled with political games and superficial allies. She has never known compassion, true, unselfish compassion, especially not from humans. Jack sits beside her, offering a cup of water. He tells her simple stories about his life, about humanity, about love and sacrifice. He speaks of the small acts of kindness that make the human race so resilient. As she listens, Zaralyn feels something stir inside her. something she's never felt before. It's not pity, nor is it sympathy. It's a quiet, growing sense of trust. Humans, Zaralin whispers to herself, the walls around her heart beginning to crack. For the first time, she realizes she's been living in a world of expectations and isolation, and Jack, this human medic, has shown her a different kind of strength. He doesn't fight with weapons or technology, he fights with empathy and kindness. Jack, ever patient, shares more stories teaching Zaralin about the human experience. His words resonate with her in a way she never expected. Slowly, the emotional wall she's built over the years begins to crumble. She starts to understand. Humans may not have the strength of advanced technology or alien power, but they have something far stronger, the capacity for real connection, for compassion, for sacrifice. As Jack continues to care for her, both physically and emotionally, the bond between them grows. Zaralin starts to see Jack not as a mere medic, but as a symbol of the humanity she has never truly understood. The trust between them builds, and the tension between their species begins to fade, replaced by something deeper, a shared understanding that could change everything. The situation grows increasingly dire as Zaralin receives troubling news from her spies. The Galactic Council has finalized plans to launch a decisive strike against humanity. Their goal, to wipe out all human forces once and for all. Zaralin feels the weight of this news. The empire she was born into sees humans as nothing more than pests, weak and easily destroyed. They've always considered them insignificant, expendable. For the first time, she begins to question everything she's known, her loyalty, her role in the conflict, and the empire she has served all her life. In a moment of vulnerability, Zaralin confides in Jack. As she speaks, her voice is filled with uncertainty. I've always been part of an empire that sees humans as nothing more than tools or obstacles, she admits, her gaze distant. I never understood you until now. Jack listens carefully, absorbing her words. He's not shocked. He understands all too well the harsh view many have of humanity. But he also knows something Zaralin hasn't seen: human resilience. Humans have always been vulnerable, he says, his voice steady. We're outmatched by advanced alien tech in so many ways. But what we have is courage. When we're pushed to the edge, we fight back. History proves it. He shares stories of human history, of battles fought against impossible odds, from the earliest wars to modern-day struggles. It's not just about weapons or tech, Jack continues. It's about fighting for what's right, for survival, and for each other. His words strike Zaralin deeply, and for the first time, she sees a glimmer of hope, something beyond the destruction her empire is determined to bring. With tensions rising between their worlds, the two begin training together, forging an unexpected but powerful alliance. Zaralin, with her extensive combat training, teaches Jack alien fighting techniques, showing him how to harness her species' unique strength and agility. Jack, in turn, shares his knowledge of human technology, particularly robotics and AI, and how these tools can be used strategically to counter the enemy's advanced weapons. As they train side by side, a deeper bond begins to form between them. It's not just the mutual respect born from their shared experiences, there is something more. Zaralin begins to see Jack not just as a medic, but as an equal. Her admiration for him grows, and as she watches him adapt to the alien combat style, she is struck by his determination and intellect. Jack, too, finds himself drawn to Zaralin. Her strength and leadership impress him, but it's her vulnerability and the way she's willing to question everything she's been taught that draws him in. Their bond deepens further. What started as a partnership rooted in survival slowly transforms into something more, a romantic connection that goes beyond attraction. It's built on a foundation of trust, respect, and mutual understanding. They're no longer just allies in a fight for survival. They're two souls from different worlds who have found common ground in the face of an unimaginable enemy. As they continue to train together, both physically and emotionally, they realize that their alliance may be the key to not only defeating the Galactic Council, but also reshaping the future for both humans and aliens alike. The day of the final battle has arrived. The Galactic Council, unwilling to accept defeat, launches their full-scale assault to crush humanity and the Resistance once and for all. A massive fleet of warships, drones, and robotic soldiers descend on Zaralin's planet, their weapons primed for total annihilation. The fate of the planet and the survival of humanity now rests in the hands of Jack and Zaralin. With time running out, they lead a daring mission to infiltrate the heart of the enemy's command station. This is no simple task. They must combine human ingenuity and alien technology to break through the enemy's defenses. The plan is risky, but it's their only hope. The journey to the station is fraught with danger. Orbital bombardments rain down from above, the ground shakes from explosions, and they must fight off waves of robotic soldiers determined to stop them. Despite the odds, Jack and Zaralin push forward, each step bringing them closer to their goal. But the battle takes a personal toll. During a fierce skirmish, Jack's close friend Bonner is tragically killed by a drone. The loss hits Jack hard, his grief mixing with the urgency of their mission. Zaralin, too, feels the sting of this loss, her usually composed demeanor cracking. In this moment, she sees humanity's pain and determination more clearly than ever before. But their pain fuels their resolve. They press on, determined to stop the Galactic Council's war machine. They finally reach the AI-controlled warship at the core of the enemy's operation. A final showdown erupts, with Jack and Zaralin fighting side by side, using their combined skills to destroy the ship's systems. However, Zaralin faces a deadly choice. To ensure the destruction of the warship, she has to make the ultimate sacrifice. In a heartbreaking moment, she prepares to give her life for the cause. Jack, refusing to lose her, intervenes just in time. He saves her from the brink of death, his hands gripping hers as she collapses in exhaustion, her body and spirit drained from the emotional and physical toll. The two of them are battered and bruised, but they've won. The warship is destroyed, and the enemy's forces begin to retreat. As Zaralin comes to, tears fill her eyes. She looks at Jack with gratitude, knowing that it wasn't just his medical skills that saved her. It was his humanity, his unwavering dedication to protecting others. "You saved me. Again," she whispers. Jack, exhausted but resolute, smiles softly. "It's not the tech that makes us strong. It's the people we protect. Their bond is stronger than ever before, forged in the heat of battle and tested by sacrifice. Together they have changed the course of history, not just for themselves, but for the future of both humans and aliens alike."